Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for viewing my online application walkthrough for the 2023 Municipal Grant Cycle funded by the PSEG Foundation. In this video, I'm going to show you how to utilize our online grants portal in order to submit an application. So to get to the grant application, and when you're currently on the Sustainable Jersey website, you can go ahead and click either on the Grants tab or on our slider. I'm going to go through the Grants tab way. After clicking on the Grants tab, you'll see that there's a PSEG cycle listed here on the left. It's also listed here in the Current Opportunities box. You can either click here to get to the page with the application link, or you can go ahead and click directly on the PSEG cycle link on the left. This will bring you to our landing page for the grants program. You'll see that there are a variety of other subpages that you can utilize in order to find more information about the application process, but the application link itself is going to be located here on this landing page. If you scroll down about halfway down the page, you'll go ahead and see the green Access the Online Grant Application button. Clicking on that button will go ahead and open up the grants portal that you will be submitting your application in. You can see I'm already signed in, but I'm going to go ahead and sign out in order to show you how to log into the account. If you have not yet made an account to submit a Sustainable Jersey grant application in either of our cycles, we did implement this program, this new software, I should say, in 2021. So if you haven't submitted an application since then, you might need to make a new account. You can go ahead and use that sign up feature. If you're not sure if you have an account yet, you'll be able to check by attempting to sign in. And they'll let you know whether or not it recognizes your email address. If you do go ahead and try and sign in and it does recognize your email address, and maybe you forgot your password, or maybe you know you have an account, but you forgot your password, you can use the forgot your password button to go ahead and reset that. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. And once I'm signed in, I'll be taken to the grants portal page for the PSEG Foundation grants. Here you'll see that you have a profile you must fill out. I already filled mine out, but just to show you what it looks like in case you're creating a new account, the profile asks you to provide information for a primary application contact. And this is the primary person that staff at Sustainable Jersey will correspond with regarding this application and any subsequent award. It's important that the primary contact must be either a municipal staff member or an elected appointed official, such as a green team member or a council person, and that it's not someone such as a consultant. It's totally fine to use a consultant to help you with the grant application. They can even be the ones filling out the grant application. But when they go ahead and make an account to work on it, they should be utilizing someone at the municipality in order to fill out the primary contact. So even though they create the account, they need to have someone at the municipality whose information they can put in for the primary application contact. Once you're done filling out these fields, you can go ahead and click create profile, or if you're editing it, save changes. And it's fine if you have a new primary contact you want to be in charge of your grant account to go ahead and change that at any time. And once you're completed with the profile, you will gain access to the actual grant application. So you can see here at the bottom, we have the add another button. That's how you will go ahead and start a new application. But you also see that I have an application that's already been started and actually has been submitted. You'll note that the applications have a status bar here at the bottom that will indicate the status of that current application. So if I was still working on this application, it would let me know what section I was on. And since I've submitted this application, it's letting me know that it's been fully submitted. If you are awarded the grant, this status can change to let you know the final report is available and a variety of other statuses. But for now, you just want to make sure that you have all of the applications you want submitted listed as submitted by the time of our application deadline. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new application to show you what that would look like. So clicking the add another button will bring me into the application form itself. And you'll see that section 1 municipal grant proposal is the first section of the application, the first form that I will actually have to fill out. Above the actual section is some more information about how to use the portal, including the deadlines for each section. Note that the first 2 sections are due on February 10th, and the final section, the grant authorization resolution, we give you a little extra time to complete, and that is due March 17th, 2023. So to get started on the municipal grant proposal, I'm going to go ahead and click the blue open button. You'll then see the form requesting information about your grant project. The first thing you would want to fill out is the grant that you are applying for. It's important that you do this step first, as completing this step will fill out or will reveal other sections of the application. Since our $2,000 grant application asks for less information than our larger grant applications, you want to make sure that if you are going for the smaller one, you indicate that right away so that you don't spend time working on sections that you don't actually need to for your grant application. And vice versa for the larger grant. If you are looking to apply for a larger grant, but you only fill out an application that's suited for the $2,000 grant, you don't want to miss out on being able to complete your application and get the best review. So make sure you first select what grant you are applying for. For the sake of this demonstration, we're going to go ahead and select a large grant so that you can see what the entire grant application would look like. So after you're finished choosing what grant you want to apply for, you're going to go through the Sustainable Jersey grant history. This section is more of a check just to make sure that if you do have any grants that are affecting your eligibility, that you're aware of them and that you're working towards either closing them out or figuring out their status in order to become eligible. We're not going to be checking this for accuracy. This is mostly meant for you just to make sure that you're thinking about any previous grants that could affect your eligibility to receive a new one. So it's going to ask you a variety of questions about whether or not you have any open grants. It's okay if you answer, I do not know. If you're not sure how to answer these questions, that's a good indication that you should reach out to me so that I can take a look to see if there are any grants currently open that are affecting your eligibility. But if you answer in ways that is yes or no, you'll be asked a few more questions to help you realize whether or not your open grant is going to affect your eligibility to apply for a new grant. So once you get through that application check to see if you have any previous grants affecting eligibility, you're then going to be asked to provide some information about your municipality. In order to input your municipal name and county, we have a search feature that you can use. You can actually type within the search bar to find the name of your municipality. Note that the names are listed the same way that they're listed on our website. So if you're putting in a name of municipality, that's not the way it's listed on the website. That's the reason why you won't be able to find it. So if you're not sure how exactly it's listed on the website and all the other ways you tried aren't bringing up a municipality's name, please go ahead and take a look at our website to see how it's being listed. So if I wanted to submit an application for Northvale, I type in Northvale, I'd see Northvale Borough, I'd click on it, double check that the county's right, especially if you're from a town that has the same name as towns in other counties. You want to double check to make sure you're selecting the right one. And once that looks good, you can go ahead and move on to the next application field. You will be asked to provide the EIN number. This employer identification number is used by us in order to correctly send you the money if you do win the grant award. So it's really important that this number is correct, and you can get this number from your fiscal agent, so most likely your business administrator. I'm going to go ahead and just put some numbers in for the sake of the demonstration. After you're finished putting in that information about your municipality, you're going to be asked to provide information on a variety of contacts for the application, including the mayor, a fiscal contact, so most likely your business administrator, or if you have a CFO, whoever is in charge of managing your official municipal funds. And then we have an optional contact, which is a media contact. While it's not required, we do encourage you to consider labeling someone to be your media contact and having someone responsible for the promotion of your project with the community and news outlets. This is an important aspect of a grant application. We will be looking to see that you are finding ways to engage your community and promote your grant and your project throughout. So having a media contact is a good way to support that goal. All this information can be filled in directly into these boxes. You can just type right within the box. You can even copy paste into these boxes. So if you've been working on a grant application offline using any of our templates available on our website, or if you have a previous grant application that you want to reapply for in this cycle, you can go ahead and copy and paste a lot of the information in to these fields. And all of our applications use a standard application form, so it'll be really easy to match up a lot of the information with this new application. Moving on, once you get through all the application contacts, you'll actually get to the meat of this form, which is the grant proposal section. I do recommend reviewing the evaluation criteria that the selection committee will be using to evaluate your proposal before you get started, just so you know where the weight of each section will be, and that will help inform you of where you should spend the most time on your application. So first, we're going to ask you for some brief information about your project title and description. Note that this section, and it's the only section that's like this, does have a word count. The reason for this is because we really use the project title and description as ways to identify your grant. So having a brief, concise description of what your project is and any of the main features of your project is really important when you're working on this description section. You'll also see that these sections have a little red asterisk next to the names of the titles, and that just means that these sections are required. So you won't be able to submit this application unless you have all of the red starred fields filled out. After the description section, you're going to be asked to upload an action plan and timeline. We do have a template you can use, and you can download it either by downloading the Word document with this link right here, or you can use the Google Doc version right here for those who don't use Microsoft Office. We have the ability to have you upload any type of file. So if you want to upload the Word document, or if you want to upload a PDF of the Word document that you're working on, you can go ahead and do so. And if you aren't using our template, know that that's okay. It's not required. It's just optional. We're just trying to make it a little bit easier for you so you have something to work off of. But if you aren't using our template, just make sure that you're still covering the kinds of information we'd want to see out of an action plan timeline. By looking at the template we do have and trying to make sure that all the steps that we have listed as being important steps are covered in whatever action plan and timeline you decide to make. So when you're ready to upload the action plan and timeline, you're going to go ahead and click the Select a File button. You're going to choose whatever file it is that you want to upload. You'll notice that after you've uploaded it, it'll have the name of that file within this gray box. If you realize that you've uploaded the wrong file and you need to change it, you can go ahead and either just reselect a file by clicking the Select File button, then I'll overwrite it, or you can even, once this is done uploading, I'll show you, delete the file and then go ahead and re-upload it using the Select a File button. So you can do that by clicking the red trash can feature. You'll notice that occasionally there'll be little question marks within a circle next to some of the fields, and that just means there's some additional information available to inform you on what kinds of files or what kind of information we're looking for that section. So this little question mark next to these uploads is just going to let you know the maximum size of files that we can accept and what kind of valid file types. And as I mentioned before, we'll accept any kind of file type. So if you were doing this in Excel or Word, or you want to upload a PDF, any of those things are fine. You can go ahead and choose any of those files to upload. Once you're finished with the application, action plan, and timeline, you'll get into the budget section. There's two parts that we ask for the budget. That's a budget narrative and a detailed project budget. We have a template for the detailed project budget. So if you would like to utilize our template, which again is optional, but definitely I think a good way to streamline your application process because it's already all ready for you and you just have to fill out the fields. You can download the template as a Word document or as a Google Sheet and then go ahead and fill it out and then re-upload it to this section. The budget narrative is going to be something that accompanies your detailed project budget. It's really important that the totals within your budget narrative and the detailed project budget match. Don't feel like you need to rehash an itemized list of what you plan on buying in your budget narrative. Your narrative is really just meant to help explain the different aspects of your detailed project budget. So for example, if in your detailed project budget, you mentioned that you're going to be having some in-kind in regards to volunteer hours, you can go ahead and explain where those volunteer hours are coming from and any relationships you have with the folks that are volunteering, anything like that that's going to help inform better inform the review committee of your budget and your project, you can put in the budget narrative. If you aren't able to quantify some kinds of in-kind donations, so for example, if the municipality is donating mulch, but you're not even sure how much mulch you're really going to need yet, or maybe you just having a hard time coming up with a number for that, you can still list it in your detailed project budget without a quantitative amount and just explain what that budget item is in your budget narrative. Just explain that the municipality has offered to provide us the mulch we need for our community garden when it comes time to actually complete the garden. So we try to be versatile with this. I would say try to quantify as much as you can. Just makes it easier for the review committee to get the full idea of how much funding, whether it's through time or effort, or even just like monetary donations. It's good to see it quantified, but know that we will accept qualitative explanations of in-kind contributions. So once you're done with your budget narrative and detailed project budget, you can move on to your project team. This is going to be another upload. We're just asking for you to put together a document that has a list of the key people who are being involved in completing your project. That includes each person's name, their organization that they're from, so whether or not they're a municipal employee or maybe they're from another organization that's helping you out, or a resident or a volunteer, anything like that. Their title, if they have a specific title for their job description, we would like to know that. And if you have any experience that you are utilizing for this grant project. So if you have a green team member listed on the project team and you know that that person's going to act as a master gardener to help you with your community garden, you should just make a note that, this person is a master gardener and we're going to be utilizing their talents in order to complete our community garden project. So that will help give the selection committee an idea of who's on your team and whether or not you have the right people to get the project done successfully on the team. It's totally fine to upload this in any file format, so Word document suffices, or PDF or anything of the sort. The only note I will make here is that really make sure that you reach out to members of the community and any kind of stakeholder that's going to be affected by or might have an opinion on this project. It's great to see a robust, diverse team. And also when you're putting together the information, please don't include any personal information about your project team members, such as their addresses. We don't need that information and we don't want that to be going public to people. So please make sure to not include that information for your project team. Once you're in the project team, you can go ahead and move on to the community engagement section. This section will be a section where you're not uploading anything, you're actually typing directly into this text box. There's no word limit here, so you can write as much as you'd like. We do ask that you try and be as concise as possible, but if you have a lot of information here, don't be afraid to write a lengthy statement. It's important that you really go into detail on how you plan on engaging the community. You can build off, the community engagement steps you have in your action plan and timeline and provide some more context here. List any partners you'll be working with, things like that. The project impact evaluation section. This is where you're really going to be going into why you need this project, why this is important to your municipality, who it's going to be impacting and how, and any other information such as background information that would help inform how you got to this place where you're ready to submit an application for this kind of project. It's also a good chance for you to explain why your project is innovative or unique. Even common projects that we see a lot of, like community gardens, can have unique and innovative aspects to them. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to do something that hasn't been done before or is completely, out of the norm for what a community garden is, but, making it tailored to the unique needs of municipality or adding on some cool, neat features is a good way to help your project stand out. So this is a good place for you to put information about that. We're also asking that you consider some kind of evaluation process. We don't require any kind of formal evaluation process for your grant application, but we would like to see that you're starting to think about how you're going to be measuring the success of your project once it's completed. So consider ways you can do that, whether it's a survey or maybe, just taking a look at the project and taking some data from it, anything like that would be a good way to evaluate your project and should be listed here in this project impact section. Once you get through the grant proposal section, we have one final section here that's just asking if you have any information besides what's required to upload. So it's all optional. You'll see that none of these are required fields. A lot of applicants use this section to upload letters of commitment or support from project partners. You can also use it to put in more information on the background of your project. So if you already have a quote that you've gotten recently for how much something would cost, or you already did a survey to get public opinion on this project, or any other kind of informational document, you can go ahead and upload that in this section. And the selection committee will be able to see it when they're reviewing the rest of the sections of your proposal. So you'll see that this application form will automatically be saving every few minutes. You can also use the save draft button to save your work. That way you don't have to worry about completing everything in one sitting. You can work on this periodically up until the application deadline. But once you are finished and you're ready to move on to the next section, you're going to go ahead and click this blue Mark Complete button. So as you know, you've probably seen I haven't been filling out all these fields. So if I were to click the Mark Complete button at this time, the form is going to let me know that I am not able to because I still have required fields that aren't filled out. And the form will let you know what fields those are by having this little red message pop up under all the fields that still need to be filled out. So it should be pretty easy to figure out if you're missing anything. The application form literally won't allow you to submit an incomplete application. And even if you do make some kind of mistake where you upload the wrong thing, so maybe you're looking to upload your action plan timeline, but you accidentally upload your budget twice, we will be doing an internal review of all the applications before they move on to the selection committee to be evaluated and selected for the grant rewards. So, don't fear too much. We'll definitely be checking and we'll reach out to you if there's anything that looks awry when we're doing that application intake. So in order to show you the rest of the sections, I'm just going to go ahead and close out of this one. I'm going to go back to my home page. You'll see that the status is now updated to show you that I'm still in section 1. And I'm going to go ahead and go into this other application I started and have already submitted. So as you can see, even if you've submitted the application already, you're still able to access it. And you'll be able to even edit any of these sections up until the application deadline. So I can update section 2 and section 1 at any time until that February 10th deadline. And I can upload or change anything in the grant authorization resolution section up through March 17th. Which is great because if you get a letter of support, maybe a little bit later, you've already submitted your application, but you got a really great letter of support from one of your project partners, you can still go ahead and re-access your grant proposal and re-upload that application support letter. In order to do that, I'm just going to show you real quick. I'm going to regain access to my grant authorization resolution. You're going to click this edit button. It's going to ask you if you are okay with reopening the stage, knowing that, by reopening it, your application will no longer be considered submitted, and you're going to say yes. It's then going to show you that this section is no longer submitted. So this green submit button is now available. If you accidentally click the edit button and you want to resubmit it right away, just go ahead and re-click that green submit button. But if you do want to edit the section, you are now able to click the edit button next to the actual section that you want to work on. It lets you know that it's complete already. So it would say it wasn't complete if there are any required fields that you weren't done. But you can go ahead and click the edit button to make any changes. So if I needed to change this resolution, maybe I just had like a placeholder in here for now and I want to upload the signed resolution, you can just go ahead and overwrite your file with the correct file. And once you're done making any changes you need to this section, you can go ahead and click the blue Save Changes button. And then you'll be able to click the green Submit button again. Just note that if you want to make changes to your grant proposal, all the way down here, section 1, and you've already submitted everything else, you're going to have to click the edit button a few times. So right now, this grant authorization resolution is open to editing since we clicked the edit button for this section earlier. If you wanted to edit the grant proposal section, you click the edit button. Note that it has to open up section 2 in order to give you access back to section 1. So just click yes. You'll see now that this section is open, and you're going to have to go ahead and click edit again, and that's going to let you know now it can open up section 1 for editing. Go ahead and click yes. And you'll see that now you're back at section 1. And do not fret, even though it's not showing section 2 and section 3 anymore. Anything that you did, any work that you did within those sections is still saved. It's still there. It's just not showing it because the way our application works is that you get access to the other sections after you have fully completed 1. So even though you don't see section 2 and 3, they're still there, they're fine, and you'll see them again once you finish making your edits to the grant proposal section. So to make edits, once again, you're going to click the edit button. You're going to go on and make any of the changes you need to make for this application. When you're done, you'll click save. And then you can go ahead and click that green submit button once again in order to submit that section once more. And you'll see now that it's been submitted, it's completed, and you could see section 2 again. Just make sure that you go ahead and resubmit the rest of these sections. So say I'm done making my changes to the proposal, I'm gonna have to resubmit this status section, which is just asking you for information about the status of your municipality in the certification program. Just note that if you're certified, all you have to do is let us know you're certified, and then you're done with this section. But if you're registered or you're not registered, it's going to let you know that you're going to need to provide green team information, and we're just going to need a list of your green team members and also just a brief summary of what you've been working on the past year for this section. And if you're new to the game or you're not registered yet, but you're still working on getting registered for this application deadline and you're working on your green team, you can just give us a list of your members. And it's okay if your member list isn't super extensive yet, especially if you're starting out. If it's mostly the same people on your project team, that's fine. And then if you are just getting started and you don't have any past activities to report on, you can just let us know your future goals, and that is fine to complete this section. So once you finish resubmitting this, you'll gain access back to section 3. You can go ahead and resubmit that, and then you'll see that your entire application has been submitted once again. So you'll know you're fully submitted because you'll see that it'll say that each of these sections has been submitted. And if you're back in your home page, you'll notice that the status says submitted. If I left any of these open, so say I reopen this stage and I go back to my home page, you'll see that that status is now saying I still need to complete section 3. So that's a good way to check to see if your application is fully submitted. You'll also receive automated emails to let you know when a section has been completed and what section you still have to complete, and also a final confirmation email when you've submitted the entire grant application. So I'm going to go ahead and resubmit that. Another feature of the grants application portal is even after you submit everything, you can still view all the sections you've submitted. So if you wanted to view your grant proposal, you can click the view button right here, and you'll be able to actually see what you've submitted. And this is a good way to save your application. You can use this in order to save a copy by using your print feature on your browser. So if you're using Chrome, you'll see that you have the ability to click print, and you can change your destination to be an Adobe PDF, and then you'll be able to have a PDF copy of your application. We have instructions as well on how to save a copy of your application. If you find them here on this home page, and also they should be within the application information section above all the sections as well. So if you click on that here button, it'll open up some instructions on how to go ahead and save a copy. If you don't want to use your browser, the other option to save a copy of your application is using this other print form option. It's going to utilize the same kind of feature that you would use using your browser, but it is another way to do it. I'll show you what it looks like real quick. So if I wanted to go ahead and open my proposal again, and I'm looking to save a PDF copy, I'm going to click this little down arrow, and that will allow me to access that print form feature. And then it's going to open it back here in my browser. And then once again, you're going to go ahead and use the print browser feature to save it as a PDF. So you don't have to take that step. You can just automatically use the print feature, but that step is available if you'd like. All right, so a couple more things to show you on this platform include the link to the application information packet. I really advise you to have this open while you're working on your grant application. It's a pretty extensive packet. As you can see, there is a lot of pages, and I definitely don't expect you to read it all, but it makes for a really good resource if you have some questions about any of the sections of the application or any of the eligibility requirements and so forth. So if I had a question, I really wanted to know more about the grant awards, like when are the grants going to be awarded to me, when am I going to have the money in hand, I can just use the table of contents, which has clickable hyperlinks to take me right to that section, can find out my answer, and then I can go back to my application and continue to fill it out. So it's a really great resource to use. Obviously, if you have a question that is not covered in this application packet, you can reach out to us. We also have an FAQ page that you can take a look at too that has some of the more commonly asked questions, and you can access that using the gear in the top right and then clicking that help button. So that will take you here to our FAQ page that has a couple of the most commonly asked questions. And it'll also take you back to the website if you want to go ahead and look at the resources available on the website. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you on this portal is that you are able to submit up to 2 applications in this cycle. So you'll notice that you're able to click to add another button again and again. So you can submit an application for both a small, which is a $2,000 grant, and a large, which is either a $20,000 or $10,000 grant. And we'll be able to review those. And then, if you don't receive the larger grant, we'll consider your smaller grant, but just note that you can only receive one. But you will notice that you are able to technically add a 3rd application. So as you can see, I'm able to open up a whole new form. And if I go back to my home page, you'll see a 3rd application there. Just note that we will only be reviewing 2. So if you do happen to submit 2 large grant applications, we'll be reaching out to you to see which is the one that you want us to review. So just know that even though you can add a 3rd or 4th or even a 5th application, we will only be considering up to 2, one of them being a small grant, one of them being a large grant in this cycle. So just keep that in mind when you're working on your application. And that completes our walkthrough of the application portal. I hope you find this portal to be very user-friendly. I know it's leagues above what we used to use, and I'm really happy with it. So I hope you enjoy it as well. If you're still confused on how to work the portal, you have any questions, definitely reach out to us, and we'll be happy to show you your way through the portal again. So thanks so much for watching my video, and hope to see a grant application from your municipality in this year's cycle.